Before the egg war began, the plateau moved as one body, giants above and flocks below, trusting a peace already cracking underneath.
In the low swamps, hunger woke early, and it was already listening for the sound of nests above the trees.
Down in the trees, the herds felt it first. Trails went quiet. Shadows moved silently. Up on the stone, the nests still counted their futures in shells, not in threats. Each from the rim, Kong saw it before any scream. Valleys that used to roar with life, now breathing in thin. On that ledge, the Heights finally believed the valley. Those weren't random kills anymore. They were rehearsal cuts on... That's where the deal was made. Once the swamp learned what ostrich eggs tasted like, the Coil and the Croc stopped chasing stray bodies. Now, pulling every egg and chick into Kong's shadow was brutal on the mountain, but it left the Coil. When the eggs vanished into the stone, the belts went quiet, and the Coil and the Croc finally did what the clan had been waiting for.
The Coil and the Croc thought they were carving a road to the nursery, right up until the grooves they'd cut ended at Kong's feet, and
tried to turn his own choke against him, threw its weight over his ribs, but with one hand still crushed. Didn't leave the river killer where it fell. From that ledge, he could finally count it. Every circle still tucked under his shadow. And before the Coil ever reached the terraces, the last ramp was already gone, turned into a living barricade with the giant in front.
by the time its head reached his feet, the climb was over. One broken serpent hanging off the ramp, one gate of fur and bronze in front of it. On its first real swing at the nests, the Coil never reached shell or feather. It spent everything on the ramp, and he walked that hit straight into his hands. Once the Coil was on the edge, he stopped meeting it on the ramp. The cliff took half the fight, turning its own weight into the thing that pulled it away from the eggs. Once he had it bent over the corner, the Coil wasn't just hanging anymore. Every pull turned that edge into a hinge, snapping the fight out of its spine one crack at a time.
By the time he stepped on its neck, for a coil. With the gorge holding the body, the real count was in the shadow. Ring by ring,
Before he turned back to the nests, he read the gorge. 2 dead kings on the same floor, and no living line left that could ever climb from their bones to those eggs.
Daylight proved the line, but the real verdict came in the dark, when the eggs... By the time the dust settled, the herds were drawing his work into their own tracks, skirting. When the jaws in the mud were gone, the edged trees took their quarters with a stone. In the gorge, the storm made their sentence permanent. 2 old kings welled.
Before the scar faded, he turned it into a rule, showing the young where the monsters stopped, and teaching their feet to stop there first.
Once the jaw in the gorge stopped breathing,